Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 15 of albums that are 40 years old in 2023. That's right, we're looking back on the great year of 1983. And we are counting down 28 of our favorite albums released in that year. 28, not a lot out of all the great albums that came out in 1983, but there's only 28 days in February, so that's what we're kind of stuck with, right? So I have put together my list. I've checked it twice. I think I'm pretty satisfied with all of my picks here. So this one today is the sixth album from this British band. It was released May 1983, recorded at Olympic Studios and EL Pie Studios in London, England, produced by Tony Platt for Bronze Records. The album is Another Perfect Day by Motorhead. Interestingly enough, when this came out back in the day, this was kind of looked at with a lot of scorn and a lot of disdain by many Motorhead fans because, of course, Fast Eddie Clarke, their great guitar player, part of that quintessential early lineup of Fast Eddie Clarke, Lemmy on bass, and Phil Filthy Animal Taylor on drums. That was considered the trio, right? So Fast Eddie leaves, he goes off and forms Fastway. The band are left without a guitar partner. Who do they bring on board? None other than Brian Robertson from Thin Lizzy. Of course, Brian, quite the name at the time, but most people thought that he was a little too squeaky clean for Motorhead, and that the album wasn't quite heavy enough. And then, when you went out to see them on tour, he was wearing like sweatpants and a headband and just not really fitting in with the grimy look of Motorhead. And this pairing didn't last too long, unfortunately. However, all these years later, this album is looked at actually quite fondly now. This is one of those albums that I think that has, over time, has aged quite well. And for myself personally, I thought he was a pretty damn good fit for the band. And I'm just kind of surprised that, I'm not surprised, but I kind of wish that this would have lasted a little longer. I think this is a really good album. No disrespect whatsoever to Fast Eddie, who I love. But I think Brian brought a little bit more of slightly more of a virtuoso element to the band. This is kind of very similar to like the Rolling Stones bringing in Mick Taylor back in the 1969, 1970. He added like a little kind of flair, right, that maybe Brian Jones didn't quite have. Right, it's kind of similar here. I think Fast Eddie's guitar skills were perfect for Motorhead, but Brian brought just a little bit more musicality. Again, I'm not trying to disparage Fast Eddie Clarke because I love him, right? But I think that Brian Robertson brings a little different element. He's definitely a better soloist, I think, right? If nothing else. Fast Eddie probably better riff guy. But here you got some great songs. I mean, it kicks off right off the bat, Back at the Funny Farm. Just terrific, raucous, raw, dirty Motorhead with a screaming Robbo guitar solo. A lot of good guitar solos on this album. You got Tales of Glory. Lemmy sounds great on this album. I honestly don't think this album sounds any less heavy than the ones that came before. It's still fast and furious. Maybe it's slightly more melodic based on the presence of Robertson. But I think we were all up in arms back in the day, and now with a more mature mindset, I think we can listen to this album now and say, what was wrong with this back then? Were we just so upset that Eddie left that we weren't going to give this a chance at all? Probably. That may have been the case, right? Heart of Stone, Killer, Shoot You in the Back, another great song. Marching Off to War is terrific. Really good. You got Iron Horse, Born to Lose, Another Perfect Day. The title track is great. Maybe there's a bit too many tracks on here. There's a lot of songs on this album, but you got I'm Your Hoochie Coochie Man. Do we really need that? Don't Need No Religion's great. Go to Hell, America. One Track Mind. I love One Track Mind. One Track Mind. Really grinding, heavy song. Dancing on Your Grave. So much fun. Rocket's good. I Got Yours. I Got Mine. You Got Yours. I Got Mine. Bite the Bullet. Man, just all sorts of great stuff on here. Again, a lot of songs. A lot of really quick songs, too. Short songs, right? I think I would have liked a few of them. Maybe, I think, shorten the track list down by a couple and make a couple of songs a little bit longer. That would have been my recommendation. But all throughout, man, great guitar playing from Robertson. Really good guitar solos on here. This would really be, when you think about it, the last thing that we would hear from Brian Robertson on like a bigger scale for forever, right? He really hasn't done anything of note as all sorts of Blu-rays go falling off my shelf. Did you guys see that? Yeah, that's just a sign that all the ones out front need to be put away somewhere because that happens all too often. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, we really haven't seen much of him since then, right? He's been out there doing little things, but this is probably the last album of Brian Robertson in the bigger spotlight, because you had Wild Horses right before this, right? So after he left Thin Lizzy for the final time, and then Wild Horses, then this, and then nothing. So it's been pretty much 40 years of Brian Robertson being kind of invisible, right? He's out there somewhere doing some stuff, playing local things and whatever it is he's doing, but we've seen a solo album or two here and there, but like Brian Robertson doing anything of major note has been zero, which is a shame. So, but anyway, Another Perfect Day, a fine album, really fine album. It's actually one of my favorite Motorhead albums. It's a top 5 Motorhead album for me. So there you have it. Let us know what you think of Another Perfect Day in the comments below, as well as your pick for day 15. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. I got some stuff to clean up in the back here, but please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave as well. Also, down below, down there, kind of hanging out with those Blu-rays that fell off my shelf, we have the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as the link to our merch page. So go check all that out, and we'll see you tomorrow morning with another album that is 40 years old in 2023. But don't touch that dial, folks. We've got 4 new album reviews coming for you today. We've got new Uriah Heep, new Winery Dogs, new Ice Age, and new Mike Keneally. Please watch those. Please do not miss them. I am eternally frustrated that we do all these new album review episodes that hardly anybody watches, and I know there's some faithful few of you who look forward to those every week, but you know, it's disheartening to me. I mean, I'll do one of these shows talking about an album that's 40 years old, and you know, 6,000 to 10,000 people will watch those every day, and I'll do a new album review from a very good, very notable band, and we struggle to get 1,000 people to watch those. So it's really frustrating. And at some point, I'm just going to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna kill myself trying to review all this stuff if nobody's watching it. So I would hate for that to happen, because that's the reason why we started this channel in the first place. That's the reason why the webzine has been where it's been for the last 20 plus years. But I mean, the truth of the matter is, you know, I spend a lot of time hurrying up to listen to these things, to digest these things, never mind the money that's spent to buy a good chunk of them. We do get sent some of them by the bands and labels, but I wind up buying a lot of these on my own dime, and you know how it goes. Anyway, so please do watch the new album reviews every Wednesday. They're here every Wednesday. They're not hard to find. Not hard to find on the channel. You just come here on Wednesday, boom, they're already pre-loaded up there for you. So it's not that difficult to find them, and they're only like 5 minutes each. So please do watch them. I urge you. So anyway, thanks for watching. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.